following is a presentation of the That Feeling Podcast Network, reminding you to always question the answers.
Eat the cake. Eat the cake. Eat it. Eat the cake. Yeah. Eat the cake. Eat the cake. Well, all right. I bet you thought you stumbled on another podcast. Of course you're right, but let me tell you about the contrast. It's really different, not an exit from the Comcast. We cover anime today and other times past. Listen and learn in that order, then replay. Be entertained by Mac, Jackie, and EJ. Three hosts doing way more than the most, proving you can pay the lion, but it's all in the approach. Originals and sequels, the newbies and the Ichigos. The world's up in flames to the ones more peaceful. The weapons or the Shuto, manga, Naruto, Monkey D. Luffy, and a lot more that you know. Subscribe, hit the like, give the algorithm life once. We trying to get the same pie that Apple took a bite from. Join the conversation, let us know if you can relate. If not, you still might be forced to eat the cake. Anime, hey, hey, eat the cake. Hey, hey, anime, eat the cake. Anime, eat the cake. Anime, hey, hey, eat the cake. Hey, hey, anime, eat the cake. Anime, eat the cake. Anime.
What's good, anime heads? As you can see, we have a guest joining us. Let me make sure I got to do the opposite side, right? The one and only, I guess you could say the better half of the Johnson clan. No shade to my man EJ.
Definitely.
We have Jen Johnson here standing in for Jackie as she is entertaining family. So enjoy your weekend, Jackie, with your fam. But we have Jen here. How you been, Jen? Been a minute?
It has. Thank you so much for having me on, Jackie. Thank you for letting me be here as well. Yeah, it's been great. How about you guys? I've been watching and I've been in the chat watching the show, so it's weird to be on.
Nah, it's all good. We know you're like in the background, holding down the camp, so EJ can, have a couple hours every other week to discuss anime with us. But when he mentioned you were jumping on, I know that you are a big Frieren fan. So I'm trying to remember whoever's idea was a great idea. But we were just like, hey, let's discuss some of our favorite fantasy anime that aren't isekai driven, right? So none of this living in the modern world, and I get stuck, like, just the whole show takes place in the fantasy world, and apparently there's a plethora of highly rated ones, and so we got about 2 each. I got a couple more in my hip pocket just in case to talk about, but you guys ready to start talking some fantasy anime?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All
yes,
right,
sir.
let us get into it. Oh, wait till you see this intro.
I like it.
I wanna
That
be
was
there.
dope.
That's awesome.
I know.
Oh my god. Oh,
Yeah. So
love it.
we are, I know some people feel a certain way when it's just like, well, you guys are using AI to help you create, like, when we get the money to be able to hire people to do stuff like that, we'll do it. But in the mean, we're poor, maybe we have some more, level creators. We're on our way up. So once we get there, please, sir, may I have some content? But we're getting there.
Slowly but surely. Slow and steady.
We're getting there. So who would like to start first? I think based on the ones you wanted to cover, Jen, let us start with you. Which fantasy anime would you like to lead us off with, or to recommend to the people?
Well, I know it won a lot of awards, maybe disappointed some people. But I love Frieren. Frieren is so good.
It is.
Like, I could probably live in that fantasy world. Like, I wouldn't have any issue. Actually, I want to be Fern and be trained by Frieren. She's so cool. Gosh, what can I say that hasn't already been said? Because I remember watching the episode when you guys were talking about the awards and everything from last year, and I um I think the thing that kind of drew me, it wasn't just a world, but also the story that they were telling. Kind of like, I don't think if I hadn't have watched you guys, I probably wouldn't have stuck with it because it was such a weird place to start, like at the end of
Yeah.
an adventure.
Yeah, true.
It, but that's the allure of it, is that, you know, it kind of picks up a little bit as the story goes on. But I love that the fact that it kind of like starts off, and you never see that in movies and shows. You never see what happens after.
Yeah.
Kind of tells you what happens after, and I love the journey that you go on with the characters here. I mean, the world, just the fact that, you know, I'm a sucker for any time that magic is real, and I love the visual effects that you can see with the magic. It's not just, you know, casting things; you can actually see the spell circles and everything, which I think is super cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a good story. Probably my the battles. I love the battles, especially the battle. I think the biggest lesson that Frieren teaches Fern is not to go big with all these spells and everything. Get really good at simple stuff. Do it faster. Do it stronger, and that's how Fern was able to defeat that one demon. And then the fact that Frieren suppresses her mana too, and is able to defeat that one demon girl as
Yeah.
well. I know, it's kind of beyond the whole fantasy image, just talking about the battles and everything. But I don't know. I just think it's a great story. I love the world that they created and everything. It's just very realistic, you know, as far as like the journey that they go on afterwards.
No, I'm 100% on board with that. This one was one that Jackie put me on because, like, you know, Crunchyroll and a lot of other anime sites and creators were talking about it. The hype from the manga was up there. It's one of the best selling mangas out. So obviously, when the hype behind the manga is that great, the anticipation for the animated adaptation is going to be even bigger. So, but I was currently kind of watching other shows, and I always fear trying to add another show to my watch list because then I'll get behind on other stuff or I won't be up to date with that show as it comes through. And to your point, Jen, like, you know, you queue up episode one and you're coming off of like a My Hero or something where the action's up here and you're just throttle it all the way back and you're just like, so like they're not even a group anymore. Like it's just her and the
What
dude's
are we doing?
old and she shows up to the town and it's like all, you know, like you're playing, you know, like a Final Fantasy or whatever, and you're just in the town and it's playing the town music and you're just doing errands and stuff. That's kind of the vibe I got. I was like, I don't know about this, but
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But then you give it a shot, right? And you it just asks for like a little bit of time. You know, you invest a little bit of time, one or two episodes into it, and it either gets you or it doesn't. I'll say that. It either gets you when you understand where Frieren is coming from as far as I live forever kind of thing. And the people that I have some of the best times of my life with are passing away. And she's trying to deal with that as well as trying to find a new group to go on this new adventure with and build these other memories with, right? And to your point,
Hmm.
Jen, like when she's talking to Fern and just trying to educate her the way that she was taught by her mentor, and you start seeing that journey go on, and you kind of get into it's not so much slice. I guess you would say it's almost slice of life, like
Yeah.
the chemistry that they're building within the group. Um, but then you also get this is a fantasy adventure anime, and you start seeing some of those fights, and you start seeing the beautiful animation. And I know we were playing kind of a in the background, but like just besides the the um, the animation, right? Just besides all of that, like you get or like the fight animation, you get these beautiful like just world building where you can
Hmm.
just see the world that they're in, and you're just at all. You can't help. I'll speak for myself, but to just be immersed in this story, in the kingdom, their stories, every relationship that these characters build, each step they take further in building that bond, it's believable. It doesn't feel rushed. It doesn't feel like let's put this together for the plot. The writers do a great job. I haven't read the manga, but usually 8 times out of 10, the manga always is better than the show when it comes to like the writing
More
and more
yeah.
in depth. So I can only imagine. I can see why the manga sold so well, but when you talk about just a very well done fantasy anime that's for people who aren't like us, who don't know about like, hey, let's build a party to go on this adventure where you have to have your person with physical strength that she got, the experienced mage she is, and I mean it's just a well done show where I have nothing but the highest praise to give it, right? So every time it's nominated for an award and it wins an award, I love these little quick things like with the little the mimics that she keeps falling for every time. Yeah. So it's an anime that talks about serious tones, but at the same time doesn't take itself too seriously to where it can have those entertaining and lighthearted moments. So that this is an awesome pick, and like I knew one of us was going to pick this one because you can't talk about fantasy anime without talking about Frieren.
Exactly.
And I just to like piggyback on you, like definitely I like the slower tone. I like the slower build. I like that, especially when like the opposite would be like solo leveling, where I feel like everything's rushed, everything's like high energy and everything. Like Frieren kind of scales it back. It's a little bit slower. You can digest some stuff a little bit more. And yeah, I definitely.
I agree with you both as far as the pacing goes. And like Willie said, when you first start, you got to give it those first 2 episodes because it puts the real emphasis in journey. And I mean, you as for once, when you look at a lot of these fantasy stories and animes, your protagonist is usually like a human. So their life is rapid in comparison to Frieren. When you watch this, you're watching it as Frieren's experiencing life in her way. She takes everything slow. It comes up multiple times that, hey, you do everything with, she's got such a slow, all enveloping pace to what she does because she's immortal, because she lives for thousands of years. And during this show, as you're watching, she starts to understand how these moments, as she sees them in like in a way that we would never understand because she is immortal. So these thousands of years is nothing to her. But as she starts to build these relationships and she looks back, she starts to see the emphasis and importance of every moment that she experiences with these other souls, because they're passing through life where her life is just constant. And that puts such an emphasis on this whole journey as you're watching it. Like, she starts to understand, as you mentioned, she's watching learning her friends are passing away. People she experienced things with that she'll never experience again. And some people have never had similar experiences with. And she starts to understand she did care for them in a way she didn't even understand. She didn't realize. Like when one of her first group members does pass away, at first it doesn't impact her. Of course, she's sad to see her friend go, but then she starts to remember all these things, and it takes her out of this narrow look at the world where, hey, I've got all the time in the world. She stops and smells the flowers literally, but and looks for her hobbies. You learn she'll take forever just to learn a spell that could be the most insignificant spell ever. Because for her, it's the pursuit of that knowledge. But then she starts to see that's moments of someone's life that I was part of that was very important to them. Like, she goes and sees a friend as he's getting, becoming elderly, and he's talking about, oh, it's such an amazing journey. And, to her, it was just moments in time. To them, it was their entire life. So for her, it's like, oh, that was a cool 30 minutes I spent. But to them, it's like, that was 30 years, Frieren. That was 30 years of my life. It's like, so she starts to learn that, and you see that because, spoiler alert, as it goes on, and she picks up people like Fern and so forth, you start to see that at first she didn't want to take on that responsibility like Fern, because she is so used to her way of living. Like, I can go and just roam these mountains to learn a new spell from a scroll and take 20 years to do it if I want.
Right.
But when she agrees to take Fern under her wing, Fern is not immortal. So she's got to start to understand, I can't take 10 years to decide on which direction I want to travel in this journey. And all that stuff starts to build. And as far as action, if you're out there and you love stuff like solo leveling, I'm with you, man. As far as the special effects and the fighting goes, it's amazing. But give this a chance, because when it comes further down the road and you see Fern and Frieren go at it in these huge magical battles with their opponents, and you get to see people like Stark and their other friends they pick up, it builds to this to reward you for watching. You're watching and the action just kicks off, and it's well placed, well timed. The writers and the artists put it together to where you don't feel this long drawn out thing. You start to see that all these moments coming together to make such an immense situation, and you're like, wow. So as far as recent fantasy, I think Frieren's top notch. It's top shelf. It gives you everything you could want as far as deep relationships, deep characters. It's definitely earned its rewards and renown as it's gotten so far, in my opinion. Art's great. Like you said, you actually feel like you're drawn in. When Willie was like, you get drawn into the world. It does that. They did such a good job that you're like in love with the background. You're in love with this kingdom. So, yeah, great pick.
And then again, I don't want to. I mean, we could talk about this all day, but I think the thing to note from this is obviously mana is a magic is a big thing in this world, but the way it's taken, it's not like the main character, like she's immensely powerful, but it's not like she's just going out there just showing off this power. The way that she, because there's demons in this world, right? Demonic magic, those that wield that. They're like the apex predators. They're out there looking for people who have mana to defeat them. And in this world, experienced mages can kind of sense and read the power leveling. Kind of, if you know Dragon Balls, they have the little scale and they can be like, oh, it's over 9,000, that whole thing, right? Frieren, she is so advanced in how she does it. She was trained to suppress it. So all of these demons keep trying her, thinking that her power is not where it's at, right? And then she just unleashes it at the last moment and takes it. Like that scene where they were fighting the clone was epic. But it's just that aspect, that way of telling the story where she's I don't know if it's humble, but it's like Eric was saying, she is one of these characters. She can easily just go out there and just live her life conquering demons and everything like that. But she'll go and do these quests, turn something in, and get a scroll to learn a potion or a spell to like grow a flower. And they're just like, what are you doing? and because she has that kind of time. Like when you look at it, normally these premises, we're looking at it from the perspective of a protagonist who's human. So I feel like the creators are like, viewers will relate more to somebody who's human, who has a finite time on this planet. And they'll probably have a party member who can live for thousands of years, but we never see things from their point of view. Like is it worth befriending this person? Because what will be a lifetime to them of friendship will only be like a couple years for me, And is it worth being attached to somebody if I know I'm going to lose them? But I think her bravery into opening up again to allow other people to be a part of her life and to go on this journey again speaks volumes. So it's a very, very well-written character and a very well-written premise for this show.
Agree.
Cool. Okay, EJ, what you got, man?
All right. So out of my vast love of fantasy, I wanted to touch on one, and I apologize because it technically is an isekai, but I want to emphasize that the journey from modern reality into this world plays such a small role. It's really more of a focus on just fantasy because the world is so fleshed out. And what I'm speaking about is Visions of Escaflowne. Okay, it came out in 1996. 26 episodes. It was April of 96. It's from Sunrise Studios, and the director was Kazuki Akane. And it was celebrated because of the fact that it was a merging of so many genres into one, and the distinct art style was very different than a lot of other animes at the time. It wasn't focused where the 90s had a resurgence of mecha. This was a fantasy where it kind of blended mecha and romance, which was definitely different. Fantasy, mecha, and romance all into one. And it's technically an isekai because one of the primary characters, Hitomi, is drawn from modern Japan to this fantasy world, but it's not. Like I said, it's not the overall focus for the story. So that fact just kind of explains how Hitomi becomes drawn into this world. But other than that, it all focuses on this fantasy world, which the Zybok Empire and everything about Gaia, which is this world, is so well fleshed out when you're watching this. And her arrival to this world and her experiences there, only maybe an episode or two where it kind of takes Hitomi a moment to go, wow, what's all this new stuff? But then it just gets right into the characters and right into the story. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because the fusion of mecha, which they call Gaimelfs in this, that's these large armored controlled by the people, into a fantasy setting, was done so well by incorporating almost magic and like the essence of the characters into their Gaimelf. So these giant mechanical armors that they get in to fight are powered by magic and tech, kind of a combination of the two. But the titular character, or the primary character, Prince Vaughn, he has Escaflowne, which is this legendary Gaimelf armor. Okay. But the thing that separates Escaflowne from the others is, one, it transforms like into this dragon-looking creature, but two, it takes its energy and power directly from its user, which is huge in playing in part in the story. But so Escaflowne is the name of the armor. Hitomi, the primary characters are Hitomi and Prince Vaughn, Alan, who's another individual. And like I said in the beginning, it's a fantasy that blends mecha and romance. A lot of this centers on Hitomi and her feelings as she goes into this world, and she starts to develop feelings for different characters. And it's kind of like a coming of age as well. You could tell she's a high school student, but she's got a lot going on. She had a lot going on as far as battling with her own situations in life in the regular world, and a lot of that carries over. So in this series, the themes and stuff primarily boil down to knowing oneself. Okay, like confidence, motivation, dedication to your vision, your beliefs, and the characters interacting kind of help build that. So Hitomi grows through this whole thing, and she experiences love as far as her feelings for the different characters. It's a love triangle / trapezoid / whatever, because the romance does get a bit involved. But I know it's bizarre. But as you're watching, though, all that plays a part in her learning to, I don't know, it's like not just being indecisive, but learning to have confidence in what you feel and standing up for that and deciding like, hey, this is what I want, this is what I believe, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to fight for. And that kind of plays in a lot of characters in Escaflowne. But I feel like the main part that's important is to understand that it's not just the primary protagonist of Hitomi that's going through all this. Mm-hmm. All the other characters are experiencing it too, and they kind of face their own trials and struggle to become more centered and more focused and to realize what they're pursuing when they interact. Like the Hitomi's torn between liking, the prince and this very valiant knight guy. Between the two, they both have their pluses and what they want and what they want to achieve, and they have their they also have their faults, and they also find their courage and confidence in their own drives and motivations as the story goes on by witnessing her as well stepping up to be more than just some high school girl. So it plays into it. I love the fact that it's hand drawn art from the '90s. It's beautifully done. I don't think there's any points in the series where you feel like it just drops off and you're like, oh, that's kind of disappointing as far as the artwork. The voice acting is done very well. You have the antagonists that keep showing up that earn your hatred because they become really great bad guys.
Yeah.
But you also have the fact that some of the bad guys are that gray area. Are they really bad, or is it just because they're standing on opposite sides of what somebody views as, right, or somebody views as their goal or their vengeance? And you learn as the story goes on, I don't want to give away spoilers, but how each character why their heart is into this big battle in this world, these wars that are going on. Why is one side considered evil and the other side isn't? When you end up watching characters that you enjoy and you like Prince Vaughn, who's one of the primary characters, he ends up getting so entangled and wrapped up into his want for vengeance against the let me get their name again real quick. The empire that the bad guys, the quote unquote bad
Zybok?
guys.
Zybok?
Zybok. The Zybok Empire. Okay, they're like the most cohesive and strong empire out there, and Vaughn just has it out to want to destroy them. Okay, he more so than anything else, he wants to destroy them, even at the cost of his own life. And then he starts to learn there's more than just getting your vengeance, which we've all seen in other story tropes. But the way that plays in here is interesting by the fact that he learns that there's other things to live for. Mm-hmm. And without giving spoilers away, he starts to understand that some of these bad guys too don't deserve his wrath. Maybe if he takes a step back and sees they're just like him, they're fighting for something they love, or they're fighting for vengeance, they believe they're due this justice. So as far as an entire series, the blending of magic and tech and these medieval battles just kind of comes together. If you like Gundam and you like, let's say, like
Inashua.
What was that?
Is it Inashua? Like something along those lines where
Yeah. You get the mix of all these, you get this medieval like society, but they have, mechs to fight with, but they also have soldiers on the ground, they have magic, they have everything that you would expect in a medieval fantasy. But you also have, awesome tropes of like anamorphic characters. There's everything from, cat-like people to walrus men to everything. So if you want a real world to get lost in, these 26 episodes are excellent to watch. Now, caveat there, the movie is terrible. If you're gonna watch anything, don't watch the 2-hour movie, because you're gonna sit back and go, EJ owes me money because that was garbage. EJ, I'm gonna send you poop in an envelope, because the movie is that bad. But the series, trust me, give it a chance if you like that kind of fantasy play. And like I said, yes, I my bad, it isn't isekai because of Hitomi's character, but the rest of it's so based in this fantasy world, you'll just love the fantasy aspect. Not as heavy on the magic side as far as like Frieren goes, but the magic incorporation into this tech, it's almost like the tech runs on magic, but it's magic from the people, or energy from the people.
Yeah.
Really gets its focus when you see Escaflowne in action. And some of the battles are just outstanding. You're watching giant knight robots fight, which is just fun. So that's my first pick. It's an oldie but a goodie. I've referenced it before, and I would really like people to check it out and give us your thoughts, especially compared to a lot of fantasy that's out there right now. You might see inspiration and things that, came from this period, or something carried on, or, Easter eggs to stuff that's popular now. But yeah, so Visions of Escaflowne, please give it a chance. It's a great watch.
Yeah. And then for those who are just like, I don't know, a lot of, I would say most anime fans now are kind of the newer generation, kind of missed out on the 90s and whatnot. But if I told you that the studio behind this one is Studio Sunrise, who's behind Mobile Suit Gundam and Cowboy Bebop, some of the more heralded franchises in anime, kind of tap in and hey, let me give this one a shot, right? The director Kazuki Akane, he directed the Code Geass one. It's another great kind of
Oh yeah, it's great.
mech. Some mechs are involved, but it's I don't want to talk about that, but go check that one out. It's one of the better ones. And then, of course, if Jackie was here, she would talk about the music. Obviously, when you have, these battles and these scenes where like this grand orchestra's playing these big scores that just bring you into it. Yoko Kano is the one who put all that together, and he was also in charge of the music behind Cowboy Bebop and Ghost in the Shell, like the original Ghost in the Shell, not the movie with Scarlett Johansson, right? We can talk about that one, but I mean, you got the orchestral music, you got the vocals in the back by the choir, and it's just you got the chants from the. I'm just
It's the chef's kiss with the music.
bro,
It really is.
you're just in there to win.
Yeah.
Um,
Real.
So for those who are looking, the interwebs is telling me that obviously Crunchyroll is saying it's available to stream in its entirety on Crunchyroll, right? Both in the original classic audio and the English redub, and it's also available for digital purchase in most places, like if you want to buy it on Apple TV, Amazon, anything like that. Reception, kind of in that weird 7.6, 7.8 thing. I know my anime list has it at 7.65. I think one of their biggest critiques of it is that they felt the last quarter of the season or the show or the series, I'm sorry, felt rushed because it was originally planned to be 39 episodes and they cut it to 26. So then they kind of rushed the back end of the story.
Yeah, it is a big cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point. It does feel a little bit that way because it's so much building up, and then they've got to rush through. But the journey is enjoyable all the way. So
Yep. And then over on IMDb, 7.8 out of 10, heavily praised from general critics for its grand cinematic scope, hand-drawn animation, and the weight and power behind its battles. And then Crunchyroll, 4.7 out of 5, favored by users who appreciate vintage multi-genre stories. So brilliant bridge between high epic fantasy, romance, and your mecha genre. So if those are your cups of tea, feel free to check it out. Good pick, EJ. Good pick.
Yep. So what you bringing to the table here, Willie?
I too am going for the I guess the older the older animes, if you will. Not too much older, right? I would say 2000, 2005, 2000, early 2000s, I would say. It's a show called Claymore, which, let me tell you, I'm going to tell you about this show. I feel bad telling you about this show because you cannot stream it anywhere anymore. Crunchyroll removed it. So the only way to watch it, I guess, is to purchase the Blu-ray set from Amazon. Like I've been looking to see if you can purchase it digitally on like Amazon Prime, YouTube, anything like that to watch it. You cannot. You cannot.
I don't know why. I don't know if it's a studio thing or not, but I luckily have the Blu-ray because it's that good. I went and found it back when you could at best.
Yeah.
He's just like, I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I knew this was gonna. 8 months ago, Crunchyroll was just like, that's enough. So I'll look into that and figure it out because I don't see why they would just remove that, right? Unless the studio was, hey, take this off your platform, or there was some kind of contract, dispute or something. But the fact that like not even High Dive or
I know that's
Hulu
odd.
or somebody picked it up, like it's a crime. It is.
It is. Because it's an excellent.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very, very, I would say, dark fantasy. And we're looking at, so the show takes place in this world that's plagued by, I guess, the enemies, which are called Yoma, the shape-shifting humanoid, human-eating demons, right?
Yes.
And of course, regular humans were like, we can't fight these we got to have a platoon of super human beings, some hybrids to help us. And that is where Claymores come into play. They are engineered by fusing humans with defeated Yomas. So they become half demon, half human. And when they're fighting these demons, they can tap into the half demon side to get the necessary power and strength to do this, to defeat them. But if they stay tapped into that side too long, they then become what is called, awakened beings, where like then they become humanoid, intelligent demons at that point. So what they don't want is smart, smart demons, right? So the protagonist is a young lady named Claire, who as a child she was attacked by a Yoma and was saved by, at the time, was the Michael Jordan of of Claymore's, Teresa of the Faint Smile. She was the #1 warrior of the organization. You know, they're ranked for whatever reason, for power scaling, I guess. You know, to keep the little shonen vibe going. But #1 warrior of the organization. She saved Claire and became kind of the mentor and I guess protector of kind of like the guardian for Claire as she was growing up. However, during that time, a former Claymore who turned into an Awaken, I think her name's Priscilla. I gotta go look. She ends up coming across Teresa and defeats Teresa, and Claire did not like that. So that was kind of the catalyst that caused Claire to want to become a Claymore. But instead of going about it the traditional, I guess their traditional way of taking the body of a Yoma and infusing it, she infused the body of Teresa into herself. So she's not half Yoma, she's quarter Yoma, and kind of possesses some of the abilities of Teresa. But very dark. I think the biggest thing about this one that really had me interested in it was the fact that during that time, like a lot of your protagonists, a lot of heroes, like you may have 1 or 2 female protagonists in the group of heroes. For Claymore, the fighting force is all female. They're all women. So I thought that was a nice, kind of flip on the head for the genre, right? And you start seeing this and you get very attached to the stories. You get very attached to the characters. I know for one, like Claire, I'm already invested because somebody kills who you look up to as a mother figure, and you're just like, I'm all about revenge. I want power to chase this person. I almost want to say kind of to what you were saying for Prince Vaughn, like he's just hot-headed and I'm after this dude. Like throughout the journey, you kind of step back and realize like there's the bigger picture. Like, is the revenge, would it be sweet? Yes, but there's other things that I could be doing besides just beelining it towards the the person, right?
Yeah. Isn't it Willie, am I right that they're all women because something about the Yoma blood thing with the males, they can't resist the awakening. If it happens to them, they automatically become the demon.
Right.
Yeah.
So in a sense, like it's almost, and this is just my way of explaining it, like women are more emotionally able to kind of handle that power because men are just full on testosterone. They would be more the success. Yeah, they would just lean more into that and then become awakened. So they're just like, men are too dumb to handle this power.
They get caught up. They want to be the best.
Yeah. Like if you're playing Madden and somebody keeps scoring touchdowns, you're gonna fucking rule the world because you're gonna turn into a fucking
like that.
Goddamn it! You should have just logged off, bro. But again, a well done anime. Again, produced by Studio Madhouse, well known for Death Note, Hunter x Hunter, and Frieren, right? So the pedigree's already there, and it's available to stream nowhere. Again,
Yeah, but it's
sorry.
beautiful though. It is so beautiful.
I will say if you can, just check out. I know you can go to certain bookstores. Maybe they may have it there. I know Amazon's going to have it. Like, just if it intrigues you, like, you can probably see a couple scenes. I know if you go to YouTube, you can see a couple scenes, couple of the fights they have on there. But this is well worth if you can get out there and get the Blu-ray copy. I'm just glad to have seen it prior to it being removed. But ever since they did remove it, there's the itch to go back and watch it. And knowing that I can't, I will probably go buy the Blu-ray.
Yeah, I know.
And I want to get to the bottom of why such a
I
great
know.
anime was just taking off like that.
When you find out why Netflix always cancels shit that's really good, and you're like, why did you cancel that show? It's so
Exactly. But
good.
maybe it's like a limited amount of titles from a certain studio, because Madhouse has good titles. So maybe like they only have an agreement to carry like 10 titles or something with Crunchyroll or whoever. And if it reaches that, they've got to like, all right, I'll hold off on this one. But it would be a shame if people missed out, because this is a great pick by Willie. It really is. I mean,
the other
art
thing,
and I think the focus, like, to me, I love it when their eyes and so forth kind of reflect the moment, and the depth that the artist put in there, and when you see these claymores kind of going into the battle and that whole transition to using powers, and it's kind of like seeing the super soldier of knights. I mean, these ladies are just awesome, and their skill is out there. You enjoy every battle, but you also, like Willie said, you enjoy the characters because they put so much time into backstories, and they're back and forth between each other. You're kind of like, you want to know more. You want to know more about, Claire, about Priscilla, about all of them. It's very well done, and I really love the fact that they kind of focus on the loss of compassion. I think that's a huge play in the series, and this is just a great pick, Willie. I really love the whole series.
I was back and forth because I had a couple other in my back pocket, and like a lot of me was not wanting to talk about it because people can't go check it out, So just talking about how great a show is and be like, but you can't watch it. It's like, well,
it's so good. Too bad you didn't see it.
Why the hell? Why the hell are you introducing new people to a show they can't watch? It's still out there. Like, it wasn't stripped away from history. You just got to put that extra effort in, which is asking a lot, because if you can stream it somewhere, the risk of, am I going to like it or not? It's low, rather than you buying the Blu-ray and you're like, well, that's $45 or however much you spent to get the Blu-ray. And you're like, no, I don't like it. So, if you do take that risk based on what we're saying, thanks. I appreciate it. However, it's understandable if you guys would rather wait. I'm pretty sure if you sail the high seas of the internet, and you could possibly find a way to watch it, but I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to support these guys in these studios, so I would like to watch it the legal way.
You're gonna raise the colors.
Well, it creates a novelty too, because if something's not easily accessible, people are gonna go to whatever degree to like get it. Because I think what was it? It was a long time we couldn't find the 13th Warrior. I know this is like kind of off in left field, but you couldn't find it. And finally, like we found it. I think out of all places, the Best Buy had one no, I even think it was Blu-ray. I think it was just like a regular DVD. And I mean, there are reasons why that I won't get into, but it created a novelty for us. And then you're like, I have it's my precious.
Yeah, for real.
Because I have copies of not to get into Studio Ghibli, but I mean, I have copies of the Nausicaa and the War of the Winds from the original dub before they redubbed it in the 2000s, and I have that, and I'm like, maybe that's part of the reason why they're like, hey, you know what, we want to bank on this, so we're just gonna take it off and have people pay like $40.
And that there's serious anime heads out there that are gonna be, they will find a way. So if you do find a way, share it with the rest of us, because we'd love to watch it again. I mean, I'll got my copy, but share it with everyone else, so anyone else watching Eat the Cake can find a way to check these out because they're gonna like that series, especially anyone who appreciates that era of art.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. Again, very, very kind of a sad thing to just lament so much praise, just give so much praise to a thing and be like, it's not available for you guys to watch immediately.
Yeah.
So, but if you do get a chance, if you come across a cheap copy, if you're in a bookstore or a video store and you just happen to see it, just know it's a collector's item now because that's the only way people can watch it. So
I know.
jump on that
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy it. All right, Jen, what you got up next?
Actually, I kind of share this one with you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Talked about it. The Wistoria Wand and Sword.
Oh yes.
I knew I was coming on here. I was like, it's been a while since I had gotten on Crunchyroll. I was like, let me see what Crunchyroll's got, and thought I might watch something while I was taking notes, and I was like, oh shit, this is actually pretty good. I was like, okay. So 7 episodes later. um, so Wistoria Wand and Sword it's based on an ongoing manga of the same name. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Is what I read.
Mhm.
You have your main protagonist. His name is Will Seafort, and he, not to spoil too much, but he joins this magical school and he has no magic, but he is a very good book student and he is amazing with a sword. So I get some tropes I get really tired of, but this is one trope of the underdog I never get sick of. I love watching a character grow and proving people wrong and shoving it down their throats. Not that he does that literally, but and the thing is that he is not arrogant at all about it. He just is who he is. Um, like I said, he enrolls in this magical academy and he gets picked on pretty ruthlessly by pretty much everyone there except for he's got I think her name is Colette or Clean.
Mhm.
Is one of the little friends that kind of sticks up for him and his kind of questionable um roommate who likes to shower with him naked. You know,
Who doesn't want a roommate like that?
I mean, watch my back, bro. um I mean, the art is great. I didn't listen to. We just watched the dub part. I didn't listen to the dub, but the English voice actors. I mean, they did phenomenal job picking them. The art is amazing. Visually, I mean, it's great. I love it. I have no notes on that at all. I mean, it's right up my alley. It gives me a touch of a Harry Potter vibe, just because of the magic, but also because I kind of felt like Harry was a little bit of an underdog, like Will, and he kind of had to, prove himself in a way. And then you have like the Professor Edward gives me like Professor Snape
Snape,
vibe,
yeah.
right? Does he? But he's not as shitty as Snape was, but he's shitty in his own right. Um, and then instead of like Dumbledore, you have like a female headmaster who's kind of like rooting for him too, but she's trying to be low key about it. And the biggest thing I love about this is that season 1 is complete.
Yep.
And season 2 is complete.
Yep.
So you can totally go in and just brain rot yourself and
Binge
watching
to
this.
your heart's content.
Yes. I love that because I'm like, oh, this is good. Oh, season 1's done, and then I was like, oh shit, there's a season 2. So I kind of have to like pace myself a little bit. But so far, like I said, I'm only on season 1, episode 7, and I'm totally hooked right now. But so far, the underdog story, I like because Will is proving himself. He's not arrogant, but he's not too much of an underdog where you're like, oh, man, come on, try it a little harder. Like he does, he delivers. He's not arrogant. He does a really great job. I love how he's just, all of his knowledge that, like his biggest strength, I think, is his knowledge. He listens, he pays attention.
Yeah.
He studies. Like I remember when the battle that they just did for the crown, he was kind of calling out the guy who did a lot of the ice magic. Like he knows his friend's magic so well. He can tell that, he wasn't doing it quite like, wasn't as strong as she was, even though he was kind of like, oh, I can do what she does. He's like, not as well as she can now. Because he's really smart. So
Yeah.
what were y'all's feelings on that?
Uh,
Well-
this was a anime that was, I was put on by a coworker of mine at my old unit, who I miss. Shout out to Alex, man, because he would come into the office and we'd close the door and they would think we're having like heavy shirt discussions, and we would just be
It must be
talking
something
about,
important.
hey, Shirt, you got a minute? He'd be like, Shirt, you got a minute? And he'd come in and we'd be like, oh, did you see the latest episode of blah, 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 blah? So, and then he told me about this one because he was just like, hey, there's a new one that's being put out by, by Bandai Namco. And I was just like, what? Like, Bandai? Namco? Like,
Yeah.
So apparently that's when I dove in, and apparently they're behind a few other anime as well. But I jumped in, and immediately I think I got into this one after watching Mashle, which is kind of along the same lines, like a world where magic kind of rules everything. There's one person that doesn't use magic, so they kind of lean towards the physical aspect of themselves and tap into a power, which is what Will did. So in this world, there's two kind of power systems, right? Obviously, sorcery or the magic they're using, which people use wands, right? So filled by mana and split into different elements: fire, ice, lightning, all that stuff. Um, Will, his thing is called the, I don't know if it's Wiz or Wiz. WIS. That's the power he's tapped into, right? The power, it stands for, it's the meaning is power of the sword. So his physical combat system is something that was a long forgotten power dynamic. So rather than casting magic, it focuses on the inner physical enchantment. So like speed, absorbing or countering magical properties and everything through the steel of the sword. So that is why everybody has their wand, and he picks. So I can't wait for you to get to season 2. I know we kind of talked about it when we were reviewing the best fights of the year. There was one fight where like Will awakens and he just goes fucking damn near Super Saiyan and it's the best scene, like second best scene when you get to the end where they're fighting the battle and he's fighting that ice douche in the arena.
Yeah.
And you see the sequence. It was like the camera is following him and he's just crushed. Oh my God. That was probably the best scene.
It was directed awesomely.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, I'm 100% on board. I think when it comes to anime, and I've said this several times on the show, me being the person I am, I always gravitate to characters where you would like to see that characteristic or that trait or something be in everybody. You know, let me not be the asshole. Let me, work hard and get after what I'm getting after and stick up for people, stand up for people who are being treated, stand up to people who are being assholes, things like that. So with Will being that person, just being bullied, being belittled the whole time, him realizing the power he has, like he could easily, once he realizes what his abilities are, he could easily kind of just run the school essentially.
Oh yeah.
But he chooses to keep assisting and helping his friends, and he's just driven on this promise, because as a kid, it's one of those kind of like, if you watch Kaiju, 2 kids growing up, hey, we're going to be the best wizards together, aren't we? Yeah, we're going to be the strongest fighters together. Yeah. So his friend, what's her name? Elphara, I think.
Yeah, Elfie. Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently she was the destined, right? So
Gifted.
the youngest mage ever to ascend to the Magdavander. So if you don't know what that is, in their kingdom, there's this super tall pillar that reaches up to the heights of heights, where all the best magicians or wizards go. So she's already up there, and she looks down, and she is rooting for Will the whole time, right? Waiting for him to climb the ranks and join her up at the top. So he knows he made that promise. He's like, I got to get there. And we as watchers and kind of understanding the world at where we're at in the series, you're like, I don't see how he gets up there without magic. But then slowly but surely you start seeing him tapping into this ancient forgotten ability, which probably once he masters will get him up to the top. But as of now, I'm just enjoying the journey, and yeah, it's a great show. I don't know if Eric's been watching along with you.
I have. I've enjoyed the fact that Will is the type of character that I truly like. I like to follow, because not just because of the underdog thing, but he knows he knows that he doesn't have magic, but instead of dwelling on that or anything else, he takes the time to learn just as much as they all know about the different magics, but he also takes time to learn about the history, like with the dwarves, with the elves. He understands their cultures. He understands everything that they're doing. And throughout all of this, even the people who treat him badly, he tries not to hold offense towards them because he says he understands that they view him that way because he's just not capable. And instead of dwelling or excuses or crutches or anger, he just pursues to fulfill his promise. And that kind of speaks loads for his character. Like the fact that while you're watching this, it shows like he goes and works with the dwarves who are considered like a subclass of people.
Yeah.
They're not given the same respect as everyone else, but he goes and works amongst them for money so he can go to the school and take care of his, needs.
Yeah.
But to him, he respects them because even though they're treated poorly, which puts them kind of in the same position as him, he respects their drive and their pursuit to do their best at what they're good at, and that they get up knowing that they're considered less, and they keep doing what needs to be done, and their zest for life kind of is the way he views it. And Will picks that up. It's like he takes the great things of people around him and he just amplifies it in himself. Like Colette character is very loyal to him and supportive of him, and in return he does the exact same thing for her and everyone else he considers a friend. So he like takes these traits around him and he embodies the best traits to the full extent, even knowing that he's kind of an outlier, that he was born without the ability to use magic. But that is, like you said, as it develops, you start to learn he's just different. And the fact that he didn't give up or cop out or want revenge or anything like that, he grows to become even greater than anyone could have thought he could be. So it's interesting, and I do like that fact that he's not the reluctant hero. He's not the brash, arrogant guy. He is the determined character who still has a good heart, and is just doing this because he made a promise to someone he loves. He's not doing it for any other reason, not to show the bullies or anything like that. He even gives the bullies a break. Like, I understand they treat me this way because I do suck at magic. He says that stuff. He's like, I can't do magic, and that's why they treat me like that. Instead of someone getting angry and like, I'll show them or I'm going to make them pay, he just says, well, I'm going to do the best I can and earn the credits my way to get where I need to be. And I respect that. I think he's a really great character, and I enjoy watching that. Like, I even enjoy the way he interacts with the girls on the show, and like he'll say flattering things to them and such, and they're but it's just who he is. He's straight up and honest with everyone. So when one of his friends looks nice for the day, he says like, wow, you look really great today, and or the way you dress makes my heart race. And it's not just to get some it's not to get something from them. He's just being genuine, and I think that's awesome.
Well, that he's so focused. I almost get the impression from him like he's not really like mentally there with them. He's so driven to get to that tower with Opie. Like whatever he's got to do, like all the experience or the points that he tries to go into the dungeons and get, like he's just wants to get to Opie.
Yeah.
No, the girls are like, oh, and he's just like doesn't even see it.
Yeah.
Like so driven, I think he's present, but he's not like really worried about that. He's just trying to get up there and keep his promise, which I think is kind of cool too. So.
Yeah. 100. I mean, it's up there for me. And like Jen said, both season 1 and season 2 are all the way done on Crunchyroll. And I also do the same thing you're doing. Is if I didn't jump on it like day 1, week 1, watching it in dub, like if there's a few seasons in, and I could just put it on English dub and kind of just do stuff while it's playing, then I'll do that as well. And I have found doing that. Some of these English voiceover actors, they do a great job.
They do.
When it comes to the right voice inflections to bring across the right emotion, the right energy for certain scenes. So it's one of those where I've been watching it in dub. But I do plan on going back and watching it in English. I'm watching it in sub, go back and watching it in English dub. But
Yeah.
it's studios, a joint production between Studio Actus and of course Bandai Namco. The biggest thing I do like is that the director and series composer, Tatsuya Yoshihara, he has worked on directing the heavy action Black Clover, which I am not a fan of, and it's not because of the action, it's because
Yeah,
it's the main character's voice. It's
It's
it's tough. Even the
it
English,
is nails on a chalkboard for real. It's like,
yes.
oh,
But that's just me. There's other people that love it. So, but he also served as action director for Chainsaw Man. So
Ooh.
very known for bringing hyperkinetic, all of that stuff, action to the series. Music composer Yuki Hayasha, the composer behind iconic soundtracks to My Hero Academia and Haiku, which is one of my favorite sports anime.
Yeah.
And again, streaming all on Crunchyroll. My anime list gives it 7.5 out of 10. IMDb gives it 7.6 out of 10, and Crunchyroll gives it 4.8 out of 5. So, very
Wow.
well received show that's out there.
yeah,
Cool.
excellent.
All right, EJ, what you got, man?
All right, so my second pick, and this is going to be one of those famous moments where EJ butchers stuff, but Clevatess or
Clevatess or
Clevi-
Clevatus?
Clevatess.
Clevatess, yeah. Either way,
Yeah, I'll go
we know what you're talking
Clevatess.
about.
Yeah. You guys know I'm gonna butcher it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, so Clevatess, it's I'm staying in the channel of dark fantasy because this is definitely one of those. And I just want to preface this with it's got a lot of mature tones and themes. So although the art comes across as more fun and stuff, you if you're watching this, trust me, you're going to come across some things that are pretty heavy to
Yes.
thought process. It's 12 episodes long. For this first season is done. It premiered in 2025 in the summer. Studio La Deuce. It is from a manga, so, and I believe that's still ongoing. So they haven't finished the manga yet, so there is opportunity for the series to go on for a while. It's listed as just a fantasy, but I do think the dark should be put in there as well. The 17 plus violence and profanity that's put out for a lot of this is not overstated here, because this within the first episode you're gonna see some really brutal moments, but without spoilers, the whole story centers around the fact in this world there's the human kingdoms, and then there's these lords or dark beasts. Okay, lords of the dark beasts. Dark beasts kind of encompass all the creatures out there, from like what would be similar to like wargs and orcs and all that kind of stuff. There's these gods, almost these dark beasts, these lords of these dark beasts that are out there, and the one that it focuses on is Clevatess. Okay, he is an extremely ancient and powerful like god amongst monsters. Okay, and as it kicks off, this individual is attacked, and in his retaliation, he destroys the capital city of the humans world. Okay, like nothing. I mean, you watch this, and the fact that hits you right away is you're following the what we normally would call the big bad evil guy. Okay, you're following the boss of enemies, which is completely different than most anime when you come across it. You're not usually going, we're going to follow in the footsteps of this evil dark lord of dark beasts. But Clevatess is an all-powerful beastly god. Okay, he wipes out this capital city like they weren't even trying to defend themselves. Okay, but in the process, he destroys everyone, including what we would consider collateral damage, the innocent. Okay, to him it doesn't matter. They attacked him, he's returning the favor. He's going to stomp on them, and when he does, one of the few individuals at the very end of his wrath is a mother with an infant. And as she's dying from his attack, his damage that he's done everywhere, his onslaught, she begs him to spare her baby because it's innocent. And in that, he kind of just is caught off guard at first. Yeah. One, he doesn't interact with humans very much at all. Okay, we're talking about a creature that's way above mortals. So he's like, what? But he agrees to spare the baby, and in doing so, he kind of gets this idea, like, I want to see why humanity's worth giving them a chance, okay? Because as he's watching this baby, he's like, okay, I understand. They're fragile and innocent or whatever. I get that. But he's like, why should I care? So he also learns immediately he has no idea how to raise a baby. Especially human beings. So he is caught completely off guard. He's like, what do I do with this trying thing? And so we've all been there. One of the first characters you're introduced is one of these heroes that went after him in the very beginning that attacked his kingdom. And he decides to resurrect that hero, put them back together because he tore them all apart. So he puts her back together and he's like, take care of this baby, yo. And when he does that, he kind of gives this hero a second life, but the hero understands that this may be the best way to end this conflict is for this creature to understand, which the only chance they have is this baby, which ends up being called Luna. If baby Luna can teach this creature, this dark beast, this Lord of Dark Beasts, that humanity is worth giving a shot, then he won't destroy the whole world of humans. And that's their best chance, because those 13 warriors were like the best they had, and they got obliterated in seconds. And she saw that. She went in like confident and everything in the very beginning, and then she's like, we got our asses beat. I mean, they got their asses beat horribly. And they're the only ones who had weapons that can actually hurt these demon lords or these lords of dark beasts. Their weapons are specially made to fight them, and they didn't even stand a chance. So she's like, wow. But what I enjoyed the most about this is the mirror put up to humanity and the fact that you get to see it, because Clevatess decides he's going to take the form of a human and journey with them, watching Alicia, I think is how you pronounce it.
It is
Alicia Glenfall is the hero that he resurrects to take care of the baby. Okay, the baby Luna. So he resurrects her to take care of, but he takes a human form to journey along with them, and he basically is hands off. He's like, I'm here to observe. So all the ass whooping and stuff that comes along, you're gonna have to deal with, is what he kind of tells her. It's like, I'm just gonna be this dude who goes along with you. My name's Clen now, and I'm just gonna hang out, okay? And when he does this, and this is a perfect example, that's his true form that you see kind of behind them. That's his humanoid form, watching her take care of the baby. All right. He is totally baffled by the way humans do things. Why they cry all the time? Why are they, what are they hungry for? What is this? But he's learning as they go. But he also, the main thing is this whole mirror to humanity thing. As they take steps, she's slowly showing him things. They come across the caste system. You see how commoners are treated by soldiers, or commoners are treated by raiders and bandits who take them into slavery. He has no concept of these things. So when he first experiences these things, he's like, wow, why don't they stand up and fight? And he's watching as humans slaughter each other over their simple things of greed or lust or whatever. And to him, it's totally bizarre. But that's when I said that you get the emphasis on dark. You see the darkest sides of humanity, and that's what Clen gets to see, or Clevatess gets to see as Clen. And he's watching slavery, he's watching prostitution, he's watching murder, and he's just like, they do all these things for what? And he doesn't get it, but he starts to learn and understand. And during that course, you meet other characters. One of the other primary characters is Neluru. Anyway, she was a slave and a prostitute, but she was given the task to take care of this baby by bandits. And when they do that, she starts to get attached to this baby because she's never gotten to have her own baby. Yeah. It's always been taken from her and given off into slavery. So, I mean, I'm serious. You will see some of the worst things of humanity. But Clen watches this, and she ends up getting punished for things and gets brutalized. But he brings her back to be a caregiver for the baby. So now he lets her take care of the baby, and Alicia kind of defends them, and he just tags along. But I think it's brilliantly done as far as giving this introspective into mankind and how humankind develops and all the things that we find important, and how an outside force, something so powerful, would look at that and go, wow, you guys kill each other over shiny rocks. Wow, your want of power is so important. You'll turn on each other just to be the leader of this group. You'll backstab your friend. You'll kill an innocent. It blows his mind, and it's very interesting to watch this dynamic as it goes on. And like I said, we're only through the first season, but they've done a brilliant job as far as fleshing out these characters. And the focus on characters, as far as art goes, the art's good. I wouldn't say it's great. There are moments, and that's probably one of the biggest gripes people have or critics have, is that the art fluctuates in its quality. Now, there are moments where the art is, you're like, wow, that is dope. But in my opinion, the story and the characters carry this so well. You don't, those little moments where you feel like, oh, it's not 100% the best art they could do. Yeah, but the characters and the events and situations draw you in anyway. You want to see it. It's kind of like a lot of fans tell you when their love of One Piece. They got through the first few seasons. It's not about the art for them. It's about the story and the characters. Luffy and everybody is important to them, more so than how he looked in the first season compared to, of course, they've done a lot of work on the art now with One Piece to where people are like, oh, it's outstanding. But there was a time where people were like, wow, I can't watch that, which I was one of the people. I was like, very disappointed in the art. But the story and characters is so in depth, you grasp that more, and it means more at the moment. And this is one of those series. But this is definitely stepping out of the shonen area, in my opinion. This is stepping into more of a mature direction. If you're going to watch this, be aware of your audience. But when you're watching it, I'm not saying it gets, we're not walking into the hentai stuff or anything, but they pull no punches. When it comes to slavery and prostitution, they show you the down dirty and how terrible it is. The way they treat the Nellaroo character is terrible. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could tell that she's probably uneducated. They make fun of her because she's not attractive, because they've beaten her so much and raped her so often that, she's missing teeth. She thinks that's the normal way to live. So you get to see these things, and he asks, like, why is that? Why is that acceptable? Why do you live like this? And the simple answers start to make your eyes open, because she tells him that's all she's ever known. The only person who's ever shown her any kindness, her own mother walked out on her as a child. And then shortly after that, she became part of this whole slave trade of children where they impregnate her, take her baby, sell it off. That's her life. That's all she's ever known. So you see the impact. But then when he watches her kindness for Luna, when she's taking care of the baby and she's nursing the baby, he is blown away that she sees so much suffering, so much terrible things, but her love for this little baby she has no connection to was so important. And I love that. I love the gritty reality of it that they convey in this. And you would not get it from looking just at the art. You may flip past it going, yeah, that's cool, but I'm not, I don't need another fantasy show. This fantasy show goes in so much depth in certain areas just to let your mind start, focusing in on that, and to see things as they are, and to get this vantage point of an all-powerful being living amongst us, seeing the way we act, and him not understanding. And then you sit back and go, I really don't understand why we do that either. And you're like, hey, it blows my mind. So
got nothing.
I'm like, it shows the terrible things, but in the end, I don't want you to come away thinking it's something that, oh man, I don't want to watch a Debbie Downer show. Shit. I'm not going to get my kind of, but you come away with the beautiful moments like Nellaroo giving her life for that child and doing everything she can to take care of it, and to see that the love of something so innocent, and some of the art in those moments are so beautiful. But I mean, the love of something innocent can change the world around them. So that was my pick. I think it's an excellent show. I hope people can give it a chance. It's on Crunchyroll. It's available right now. You get through the first season, and like I said, there's still a lot out there that could pop up. I hope it gets the love so we can keep seeing it going. I'd like to see where this story
goes. There's a season 2 on the way.
Yeah. So let's prop it up. Let's support it.
Yeah.
And I think it's good to have like different sorts of fantasy shows. Like they all don't have to be like super lighthearted. You know, some of them can be dark, you know, kind of depending on what your mood is. If you're like, oh shit, that got me in my feels, let me watch another one. You know, I think that's important.
And I love shows where it does cause you to look and reflect on like us as the human race. Like, why are some people the way they are, right? Because essentially you got like you mentioned, Eric, like Clevatess is one of the 4 demon beast kings that have the like power off the scale. They can wipe the world out of existence whenever, you know. So I guess Clevatess was only big bad enough to want to wipe a kingdom off the map instead of the world, right?
Yeah.
But he gets to the point where he gets upset at the greed he sees in humans when he goes to this kingdom. And he's like, I should just destroy the world. And to your point, this baby is like the only shield we have between him excusing humans and him, you know, wiping us out. And for those who are parents, there are times where you're holding your own kid and you're just like, why are you like this, child? Like, why are you like this? So, you know, he brings back Alicia, who, it's like you said, her goal was to kill this guy.
Yeah.
He kills her. He finds the baby. He's like, I don't know what to do with this. Stitches her back together, wakes her up, and then now imagine her feelings, like her rage towards Clevatess. Like, I know what you are. I want to, like, my whole purpose is to destroy you. Because I'm one of the Regalian, you know, what is it? Regalian, one of the, what's the name of their army? I don't know. I know they use Regalia weapons, though, which are like, they're like the nukes of their time.
Yeah.
Like, they're the only weapons that can cause harm to these things.
They can like focus the magic in their world enough to hurt these beings.
Right.
But so she trained her whole life for it.
It's just one of those things where it's a very interesting premise, and the heartwarming things, like when you're talking about Nell, her situation and giving her life to save Luna, and Clevatess looking at it, seeing how much she cared for the child and stuff. And I feel, this is just me, even though he brought her back to assist with the caretaking of the child, like it was a convenience, I think a little bit of it was Clevatess' heart seeing the good in people and not wanting, giving her a second chance to do what it is she wants to do. He knew that she enjoyed taking care of Luna, and her giving her life not being able to do that. It's, you know, I don't know if he's trying to put on a front like, you know, I'm still the big bad dude. I'll bring her back because that's one less thing for me to have to worry about. Somebody else can watch the baby. I think it was more of Clevatess rewarding her for being one of the good humans.
I agree because they could have kept on looking for a nursemaid.
Right.
But he was focused on, she's the one that's going to take care of, because she told him her story. And I think that he saw in her part of that worthiness of humankind. No matter, she had nothing. She lived in a barn.
Yeah.
You know, they threw her out. They kick her in the face. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
They literally kicked this woman in the face and throw her in the barn to take care of a baby, you know? And because the slaves were planning on selling the baby.
Yeah.
You know, and then she didn't want to give it up. So she's willing to die to protect this baby. And I think he looked at it as, wow, you may be the lowliest human ever, but you're the only one that's earned any of my respect. So I think, like you said, he didn't have to pick her. I think he did it, and he came up with a convenient excuse like, oh, well, she'll be the nursemaid. Luna needs that. But really, he was like, she deserves to live. The rest of you kind of suck. Yeah. So it's like, it's done very well.
Yeah. Good pick, man. Very good pick.
Thank you. So what you got coming for us?
All right, my last one is a Netflix exclusive called Delicious in Dungeon. This was when did this one come out? I want to say not too long ago, a couple years.
Yeah, like 2023, 2024?
Trying to scroll in my notes.
2023.
I'm out here trying to be on top of stuff with notes. 2024, right? And so when you talk about this show, you may have other creators come across and call it Dungeon Meshy because they're like, I don't like the English version of Delicious in Dungeon. I call it Dungeon Meshy. It's either way, all right?
Yeah.
It's a great show. I don't care what you call it. Just give it a shot. So essentially, it circles around the character Lyos Tudin, right? He's the party leader for this band of lovable souls that are out here trying to, loot dungeons, get money, all of that stuff in the world. But so his party, the show will start off. You'll see the encounter where his party comes face to face with a dragon deep within a dungeon, right? The dragon lays waste to him, right? Strips them of their supplies. His sister being swallowed whole. So he tries to start from scratch, gets a new party, being like, hey, let us go and rescue my sister, right? Because his determination is like, she was swallowed whole. The dragon didn't chew her. We could probably go find her, cut her out the stuff. So he's in that let's go get my sister mode, right? So she's slowly being digested. And the party, they rush to the dungeon. They don't have food or money to buy food, all of that stuff as they go into the dungeon, right? So they're just going in there. In order to, solve this issue, his plan is to keep pressing forward into the dungeon. Can't afford to backtrack because he doesn't want the monster to have more time to digest his sister. So what they end up doing is they hunt, cook, and eat the monsters in the dungeon, right? And use any remains for like armor and things like that. So they have a member with them, Senshi, right? He's a dwarf who's been living inside of the dungeon for over a decade, and he possesses the skill and knowledge to know what's safe to eat, what benefits eating these things provide as far as stamina, intelligence, things like that. So they continue to push forward, eating the monsters, and then it turns into so it's a very lighthearted, but also I almost want to say it's kind of a Frieren type thing. Like you get into it, you kind of see it, you give it you got to invest a few episodes into it, but akin to what Frieren is, when you see the bond between Laos, Marcel, Chilchuk, who's my favorite because he's like the rogue, like he's there to find
pick
the traps,
locks, yeah,
all of that stuff. But also like the realistic one where he's like, "Oh, I can't believe you guys are eating it. How are you guys eating that?" Laos is just because some like, don't get me wrong, Senshi, he will cook a monster up in a way where you're like, you know what? I'd try it, And
I think you're right. That's hilarious.
And so Marcel and Chilchuk at first they're just like, we're eating what? But Laos is just like, man, this is delicious. He just dives in and eats it, right?
Like a hobbit.
Yeah, bro, he's all about it. But he's like the paladin though. He's like the blonde hair, blue eyes.
He's the big, like I could do.
So that's his whole thing. He's all about it, and it's such a great show. I'm trying to. There we go.
I love her reactions to the food. I really do.
Yeah,
it's so funny.
So like they were trying to cook and stuff before they met Senshi, and it wasn't working, right? So then they come across Senshi, and he obviously puts them on game and everything. But in this world, obviously, mana is a thing because they roll with the mage, who is Marcel. She's kind of a half elf academy mage, so she specializes in ancient magic, and she's kind of the voice of reason for the party. But you got the dungeon itself also playing a character because it's a huge, like, it's not like your standard dungeon. There's different levels to it, and each level has like a different ecology and biosphere. Almost like you have a whole forest here where like You have giant roosters attacking. You have subterranean swamps and like lakes and rivers where there's aquatic monsters and stuff in there. So it's like the dungeon itself is a character. Um, the studio behind this, Studio Trigger, obviously they did Kill la Kill, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. That's on net. I was about to say
Yeah, it's
Netscape.
Netflix too.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say Netscape. I'm so old. Uh,
Oh, Netscape.
and Gurren Lagann, which is probably one of, if not my favorite mech anime out there.
He's right.
But for this one, you could tell, like I said, it's like a Frieren kind of burn. So they dialed back their normally explosive, high energy animation style for this, and I think they did a great job doing so. Like, there's moments where you'll see it, especially in the comedic moments where they get kind of over exaggerated with the character's face, which is clutch. I love it, right? I love it.
Yeah.
Where is it at? So the musical composer, Yasunori Mitsuda, is a legendary video game composer for RPGs like Chrono Trigger, Xenogears, Xenoblade. So I love that they went and got that aspect. Somebody who dabbles in the RPG music and then bring it here in this very RPG. Bro, this episode is hilarious. But bringing that kind of mode, I think that also what brought me into the show is as they're tracking through and you just hear this music in the back. It takes me back to times as a kid playing Final Fantasy, and you just hear that music playing, and it kind of pulls you into it even more. So it's just one of those shows where you just give it a shot, listen to it, give it a couple episodes. It either gets you or it doesn't, right? I'm not saying once you sit down, it's going to get you hooked well, it's hard to say that for any of these shows, right? Like I'll be like, Attack on Titan is a must watch, and somebody tunes in, they're like, I am not for all of this violence, It is, it is what it is at that point. But Delicious in Dungeon on my anime list is at a 8.6 out of 10. IMDb is 8 out of 10, and on Crunchyroll 4.9 out of 5 stars. So it's not streaming on Netflix globally exclusively, so it can be over on Crunchyroll depending on what country you're watching Crunchyroll from. I guess the IPs kind of run like how it is on Netflix, like if you're watching Netflix
What's
Canada,
regions
right,
and all that stuff.
all of that stuff. But I know here in the States, you got Netflix. You can easily watch this amazing show here, Delicious in Dungeon, or for my non-Delicious in Dungeon Meshi. So
I think it's a great pick.
Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It is it's like a nice palate cleanser too, because it does have the funny and the over exaggerated emotion parts, but it also has cool, like, I don't know, like side add-on stuff, like the knight character with that whole part of that clip you showed the magic sword that he finds. And the thing is like, he knows that it's got, like, I don't know if it's cursed or what. He knows it's not good, but it's powerful, and his focus is to keep his friends alive because he doesn't want to see anyone else get killed and taken away. So he's willing to face whatever repercussions come from that to keep his friends safe.
Yeah.
And it's little things like that. And the dwarf, I love the dwarf. I mean, being down there for 10 years, and he just approaches things so nonchalant. He's like, you could actually take that and make a delicious. And it's like, he's just so like chill with it. And I think overall the vibe is great for that show. It does have its action moments, but I think that the characters and their interactions just really, really make it to where you get stuck with it. You want to watch more. And the music helps too. Like you said, it reminds you of Zelda and all that kind of stuff, just kind of journeying, It brings that nostalgia with it.
100%. So yeah, those are a few of the fantasy anime that we're in, stuff that is currently going on and stuff that you could probably catch up on, like Escaflowne. I think Crunchyroll said they had all 26 episodes, so you can knock all that out. Unfortunately, Clevatess is not on there, but again, just Google where to buy it. You can get it online, obviously. There's obviously more out there to touch on. We've talked about Berserk on this show numerous times.
Love it.
And Eric has brought up one of what I would think is like one of the Mount Rushmores of the fantasy genre, the Record of Lodoss War.
Mhm.
It's a it's a classic. So again, there's plenty out there to choose from. We just gave you 2 each, or 6 total. So if you check them out, make sure to drop in the comments how you liked it, or if you know of any other that we're missing, also put them in the comments. We'll add them to our forever growing watch list, which one day, like when it's all said and done, we will complete it. But
92 years old, I'll be calling Willie like,
I did it.
Billy's gonna be
watch
like,
list is done, and then I'll be,
He died a happy man.
yeah,
there's one more.
yeah.
It's one more.
We got another one.
Before you go, have you heard of no?
No, my soul comes back into my body like, no,
I'm so tired.
they redid Bleach again.
They took another something.
Oh man. But we shall return to our regular scheduled program and then wrap up the episode.
Yeah,
Great show. Again,
excellent.
thanks to Jen for joining us and giving us 2 amazing shows to check out, as well as providing amazing commentary for the shows that EJ and I chose. Thanks again.
Welcome. I like your shirt too. I noticed
Oh,
that.
what? Oh.
She's like, hey, wait a minute, I know that shirt.
One of my go-tos. With that being said, an announcement. Next week, the Smoke Pit, me and Black will usually go in here and talk about shenanigans, but we are opening the door and having Jen come join us, and she's going to share some of the things that kind of goes back to the Queens of Nerdom. She has been tapped in to her nerd stuff, and for whatever reason, I'm just like, you want to get back on and hang out with the broskies and talk about some nerd stuff? She said she is down. So we are excited to have her come back. Waiting for the topics, but it should be a good show.
Yeah. Thank you. I look forward to it.
Cool.
Smoke Pit's always good too.
We try.
It's always good. Always good stuff.
We try. But for all of you who tuned in, thanks again. Make sure to leave comments. Stay active. Oh, we do owe you. We haven't forgot about the best couples thing. We're gonna put the vote up for the will they won't they, since we got our finalists for that. We'll get our finalists for the best action couple, right? Battle duo or whatever we named that category. And then we will go out and get nominations for the next one. I have it written down in my notebook somewhere. But we do owe you that, so stay tuned. Make sure you follow our Facebook group or just follow the Facebook page. You see it down here at the bottom, right? Instagram, Facebook, we're on TikTok, all of the good things. Do we have Jen kind of type a AI outro for this one?
Oh yeah.
That's kind of our thing.
Jackie usually does a outro for us where she asks one of the AI to give an outro with the subject matter. Would you be interested in picking that up?
What do I do?
You just
So
go to Google and then type, give me an outro for an anime podcast that talked about fantasy anime.
Yeah. And see what wonderful treasures we'll pick up from that. Because man, there's been some winners.
Okay,
So just go to Google and type in the search bar.
Okay.
Outro for anime podcast about fantasy animes. Let's see what it says. You can even type in keywords like eat the cake.
Was that Zeke?
Yeah, Zeke's rolling around back there somewhere. I don't know. Good parenting right here. Somewhere my son is rolling around and giggling.
Her facial expressions.
So intent.
Did I do it right?
I don't know. Read one, or what did it read what it gave you. It's not a right or wrong. It's more of an experience. It's kind of we're just going for the feels.
The AI overview.
Yeah, just
Did
read what.
did it give you something?
I just put an outro for anime podcast for fantasy.
Yeah, what did it say?
What did it say?
It says, and that brings us to the end of another quest. A massive thank you to everyone who joined us in the guild today. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a drop.
Join us in the guild.
That's all the mana that we've got for today. Thanks for tuning in and dive into the greatest fantasy anime out there.
Did not disappoint.
Knocked it out the park.
There we go. It had all the key words in there. The journey, the mana. It's all good.
Good stuff. Good stuff. But again, thanks for everybody who tuned in. Get out there, enjoy what you want to enjoy, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.